It's so hard these days with so much going on to really focus on what's important, what's not important, what's kind of noise. With the run up recently in silver price, again, it was the same old song and dance. We're off to the races, and then of course silver takes a gut punch, almost 10% drop in just a few days. That's a big move. And I think about, pre-pandemic, was silver really that, volatile as it is now? I don't remember it moving quite as much as as it does seem to move now. Same thing with gold, although gold seems to be much more stable. It's actually pretty interesting. It also, kind of brings to me, the perspective that people have when they talk about things like, I don't trust the stock market. You can lose money. Da, 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 da. I don't trust it. There's so much volatility. But the same thing happens in silver, and it's like, well, I want to buy more. Well, why don't you have that same attitude towards both things? They can both leave you in a better place. But it is interesting, right? Because we all see things through our own lens. For example, the economy. The economy, I mean, like it or not, and it's not political, it's not anything that Joe Biden's doing it on the bad or the good. The economy is actually very strong. Why? That's not true. It's terrible. Look at me. I don't have a job. I don't. No, that doesn't mean that it pertains to your particular situation. The bottom line is the economy is consumerism. Here in America, our lives revolve around buying stuff. These companies have convinced you need all kinds of crap that you really don't need. But that is really the economy. And like it or not, people are spending money. Where they're getting it from, I don't know. Now, the other thing is, pretty much record low unemployment. That's actually pretty interesting. Now, the case could be made that, well, look at the type of jobs. They're gig economy jobs, and people have 3 jobs. And look, you're absolutely right. But that's been the case since 2008. I mean, again, you can't cherry pick your facts. You can't say, well, this is the case because so and so, or it just is what it is. The economy may actually be garbage. It may be kind of propped up by cheap money. That's probably, again, also true. But it was the same under Trump. It was the same under Obama. It is what it is. And so at some point you have to play the hand that you're dealt. It's very interesting how people just want to, for example, again, politically, you look at Trump people and they were like, Biden's going to crash the economy. That hasn't happened. That hasn't happened. You have other people who say, well, corporations are, they're going to go under because of tax and regulation. That hasn't happened. Record profits last year, 50-year high for corporate profits. So again, that's not happening. At what point? Same thing with Trump. When Trump was in office, you had plenty of people on the left saying, Trump's going to. Now, it did end up happening. I mean, unfortunately for Trump, the worst economic disaster since the Great Depression. The case could be made either way. Was that his fault? No, in reality, it's not his fault. Could he have handled it better? Yes, he probably could have. But the bottom line is the facts are the facts. And whether you like the facts or not, it is what it is. Now, with things like the GDP or the jobs numbers, again, you can make all kinds of arguments of, well, the numbers are manipulated. Yes, but they've always been manipulated. So again, these are things that people don't understand. People can't do, basic math over here talking about economic theory. Stop. If you don't understand it, you can't make a strong argument. Same thing with things like Ukraine. Think about like these people who are like, well, why are we giving billions of dollars, $68 billion to Ukraine? Where's that money going? Oh my God. It's not $68 billion of money going to Ukraine. Again, these are things that people just don't understand what the hell they're talking about. When they talk about all of this aid package, most of that money goes here. It goes here in America to produce weapons and other different things. All of these people, you look at the defense contractors, they're loving it. Why? Because their workers are working overtime, making, who knows what to send where. The military industrial complex loves this, but that's where the money's going. We're not sending, we're not wiring Zelensky $68 million in cash. That's not how it works. And again, these are things that the normal person doesn't understand. And secondly, again, if it's framed to them by whatever, information that they take in, whatever channels, whatever media, they get brainwashed into thinking they understand what's going on. You have no idea what's going on. You don't understand anything about how things work, which is so frustrating. Whether you like things or don't like things, it's just frustrating to have a strong opinion about something that you don't understand. But again, these are all important things, right? Because they're things that affect the real world that we live in. Again, look at the economy. The economy is not the stock market, but previous president talked about the stock market. Look at how great the stock market is doing. The stock market doesn't reflect what's going on economically. In fact, I would expect that at some point the economy actually slows down. Consumption slows. Why? Because people don't have endless money. At some point, they gotta stop spending. When that happens, economic activity will slow. But what does that mean for the stock market? It actually could be a better thing for the stock market, because as economic activity slows, that means that the Fed can cut that Fed funds rate from being so high, and all of this money sitting on the sidelines will flow right back into the stock market. That is the mechanism at play. Look at things like gold and silver. Again, where's the demand going to come from moving forward? It's just not there as far as a growth mechanism. Gold and silver definitely have their place as a diversification play. And yes, things like the pandemic jacked up the some capital appreciation there. Great, good for us. But is that going to be the case moving forward? No, it's not. And that's the thing that you have to grapple with. You have to accept that if you're putting your money into this kind of thing, it's not because that money's going to grow. In fact, it's going to lag so many other assets that exceed the rate of inflation. This is a part of your portfolio, basically your insurance policy, your savings mechanism, money that's tied away in something that, you're not going to blow on crazy stuff. But is it the way that you can grow your assets? Probably not. And again, the only examples you hear are, well, I bought in the year 2010 and I've been stacking and look at my stack double. Well, yes, there was a one-time event that doubled it. I mean, do you use the lottery as your, financial planning mechanism? You won $10,000 on a scratcher. That's going to be the way that you're going to run the rest of your life? Probably not. So you can't do the same thing with gold and silver. That being said, like I said, is there a value to it? Absolutely. It really just depends on what you're trying to get from it. It's good at some things, it's not good at others. Just like any other, asset or investment. It is kind of, the world that we live in. But these things are important because at the end of the day, you work, you get paid a wage, you work, however many hours a day. You are putting your hard-earned sweat and tears into things like this. You should, at the end of the day, at least be able to know the value.